Well, speaking of seeing Pantera live, let's dive into Louder Than Life 2023. Or is that what year we're in? I almost said 2024. There we go.
There we go.
We'll just kind of break down each day. I will be there. If you listen, watch everything else, reach out to me. We'll meet up. There's a few places on site that we can go have a drink or whatnot. But yeah, let's see here. All right, Thursday night, September 21st. You said your boys in King. You know those guys?
If you can, go and check them out. They're super awesome. Great stoner metal band. Pepe, the drummer, is a fucking beast, man. When I started playing drums, or when I attempted to start playing drums, he was kind of the reason I started, because I would just sit. I would just watch him from side stage, and it was just watching this guy play is super awesome. And they're just a great band. Amazing 3-piece. So please go and check them out.
Mannequin Pussy. Deaf Heaven.
Deaf Heaven is fun.
Yeah.
Deaf Heaven, I find that I need to be really stoned when I listen to it.
L7.
L7 I love. Yeah. Have you ever seen L7?
I got to see L7 in the 90s. So
yeah, they're just I don't know. To me, they're like the old ladies who like smoke Marlboro Reds, that are still like super feisty.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah, you don't know the half of it, kid. I've been around. Like but they're just so I've seen them a bunch of times in the last couple of years out here. And it's funny to see like that. I'm like, oh my God, like this is my demographic. But then I'm like, I look around and I'm like, none of these people are going to be in the pit whatsoever.
Yeah. When I was sophomore year of high school, we went to see them on a school night. I got the L7 shirt with the the skeleton hands or whatever, doing the L7. And in my sophomore photo in high school, I'm wearing that shirt because picture day was the next day, and you got to wear your shirt that you bought the night before. So
they still got it though. I mean, there was no, I mean, back then there was really no all female metal or any kind of bands for that matter, that I can really think of. So it's like they really filled that niche right there, but they were always great. I loved watching them.
Right. White Reaper. Code Orange.
Sounds like a wheat strain.
Both of them do.
Right.
And Royal Blood.
Code Orange is awesome, dude. Like I've seen them so many times, and they're one of those bands to me like Warbringer, where I'm like, I always feel like it's like, oh no, they're just the first of 4-band bill or the first of a 5-band bill, or they're just in a van kind of thing. And I'm like, come on, man, these guys, I don't know. I just think they're so crushing at what they do, and they're so fucking good. And it's like every time I see them, just kind of like on this low level tier of bands. And I the first time I saw them was at Knotfest out here, and like literally my jaw just fell to the ground. I was just so blown away by it. And then every time I see them, it's like, oh yeah, plus Code Orange and like little teeny tiny letters. Like, right? Come on, man, give these guys a fucking break.
Yeah, I was jumping to Coheed and Cambria, man. I saw Coheed and Cambria in the early 2000s, like second of 4, and we had no idea who they were. I went to LimeWire or something, downloaded a song, and I was like, so this guy sounds like Rush. Yeah, but
that's why I can't do it, because he sounds. And I've met Claudio a bunch of times because he was doing his own toys and comic book and stuff like that. So I met him at a couple different comic conventions. Super sweetheart of a guy, really nice dude. But I even told him, I was like, dude, you're a super great guy, but I was like, I'm sorry, I just can't do your panties. But it's like, you know what? He wasn't like offended or anything. He was just like, it's not for everyone. I was like, all right, cool. Like that's.
Well, then I will say that Coheed and Cambria is for me. Like, yes. No. I have those days where like all I want to listen to is his sweet voice.
If you're a Rush fan, and I mean, Coheed is definitely your jam. So
yeah, I bought an acoustic guitar at a yard sale the other day, and I was like, first thing I'm going to learn is "Welcome Home." So I did. ding, 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 But yeah, so I dove into that, man. So yeah, I have not seen them since that. It was Coheed and Cambria, it was The Used, and it was The Start.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was like 2004, I think. 2004, 2005. 311. What are your thoughts on 311?
I've always loved 311.
Me too.
I always have. I saw them at Korn. I've seen it with the Deftones. I've seen them a million times, especially back in the early 2000s and the 90s. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, they were, I mean, especially those first two like records or EPs or whatever, were just like the soundtrack to like 2 or 3 of my summers back in the 90s when I was in college. And they were always playing festivals. They were always playing in Jersey. So I've always dug it, I know they're going to play obviously all the hits, but even still, it's, they're still super talented and a lot of fun. And that's really what matters to me.
Yeah. I saw them a couple of years ago. I think it was just like an evening with 311. That was a good show. Cool. Back in the day, it was first time I ever saw Deftones. They were opening for 311.
Yeah.
I saw No Doubt open for 311. they were always there. They always had the greatest opening bands.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was always a fun show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them on a nice, warm Kentucky evening out here. And then the big headliners of the night, we got Rancid, which I'm a big Rancid fan. Saw them back in the day.
Rancid is a fuck ton of fun, dude.
Yeah.
They're a really fun band.
Weezer, which I love Weezer to death. Actually, I saw them a couple of years ago, probably not a couple, probably like 7 or 8, but it was like them and Panic at the Disco. And I was like, it's going to be a cool show. Ended up being a great fucking night of music.
That's awesome.
Just a great night.
I just, with Weezer is a lot like Violent Femmes for me, where it's just every single song is just a hit that
Right.
My only thing is that when it comes to these big festivals, I think the last time I saw them was at Bumbershoot in Seattle. Yeah. And it was like, I couldn't really get much further to the stage as I was at that time. And at the time I was like, it just looks like a bunch of dudes. Like, it's like, It's like, it doesn't really necessarily even have to be them. It's just like a bunch of guys that just kind of look like them from far away. And it's almost like that's good enough.
I think what was weird about seeing them was, I love, like, the Blue album is a banger start to finish. Yeah. Like it's a perfect album. Pinkerton is great too, but the Blue album for me, it can start over and just keep going in a loop and I'll be fine. But it's funny when I went to see them, you forget just how many hits they've had since Pinkerton and on.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
and I'm assuming the big headliner of the night, the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, same thing with those guys too. And I mean, goddamn, Dave Grohl is just the nicest. He literally is the nicest dude out there. Like, it's I actually got to make him a when we were sponsoring Dime Bash, I made him a Dime Bash custom apron just for him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so pretty stoked about that. And then it ends up my wife had a weird tie with him as well. She used to work at different rehabs and psych wards basically, and she was taking care of a girl that he had a huge crush on. She was in the band Verbena from back in the day. Very much like almost
Are
like
we violating HIPAA violations right now, by the way?
Not at all. Not at all. But it was just like, but he went to like visit her on these times.
Nice.
Yeah. And so that's when my wife met Dave Grohl. And then when we were kind of meeting, he was like, wait, I remember you. And so
cool.
It kind of came to this. It was just a really cool kind of coming together. But my favorite thing was just that he wore the apron while he was barbecuing at Dime Bash.
Yeah, but, he seems to be like the nicest dude on the planet.
He really is, man. Seems like the kind of guy who'll just kind of give you the shirt off his back, or if you're just like, man, I wish I had $5 to ride the bus so I can get home, he'd be like, here's a 20, like, enjoy, dude. Like just a good dude. I mean, I'm curious to see who the new drummer is. I know they named who it is.
Josh Freese.
Is it Josh Freese? Oh, I thought it was some other guy. Oh, okay. No, then Josh Freese is, that's one of the best you can get, when it comes to drummers. So, I don't know how often Foo Fighters has played since Taylor passed away, but
they played a couple of shows, and so far the people have not cared for Josh Freese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is crazy because I love Josh Freese as a drummer.
Right.
And so, but I think he's kind of he's coming from like the punk rock and stuff, so he's got to slow it down a little bit and groove a little bit more in this.
Gotcha. But I mean, it'll still be a great show every time. Yeah. Actually, to go back to the SoFi thing, the very first concert they had at SoFi after they finished building it during the pandemic. And so the very first concert they had was a vaccination only show. And it was like J-Lo and all. I mean, it was such a garbage show, to be honest.
Okay.
Like Selena, I think it was Selena Gomez. Like, she couldn't read the cue card. It took her like 8 tries to read a fucking cue card. It was retarded. Anyway, it was like her and like just all these like kind of R&B kind of people. And then at the very end of the show was Foo Fighters. And they fucking just crushed everybody. Like, everybody else had such a lackluster performance. And they came out and just crushed it, and then brought in why can't I think of his name? Holy crap. Lead singer of AC/DC, Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Brought him out, and they did like 2 AC/DC songs. So it was like what made the whole show. We were like, thank God we waited to this part of it. But his was literally the last part of it. Yeah. And they were like, yeah, we're not going to televise this part of it. And we were like, what? Like, this was the best part of the damn show. You're not gonna so
nice.
I hope they do something cool, because Dave's also known for just doing cool shit, either bringing fans on stage or just doing something cool and different. So I hope he does something unique at your show, dude.
Yeah, overall, not a ton of new on Thursday, since we'll tie it into new pop.
No, not so much. I mean, with the exception of the bands that I'm unaware of, really, But
they're probably all new metal.
Yeah, right. But hopefully, I mean, when you go there and you check these bands out, I mean, it will lead to that of like, oh shit, like these guys really have their thing together, and hopefully they become something that we discuss here on the show.
All right, we will dive into Friday, September 22nd. Foxbat. Now, Foxbat, they are local here. They the singer Clay Neville's, good friend of mine, and the few times I've played him on Talk to Me, I play music occasionally on that podcast, but the 2 times I think I featured a song by them, the episode for some reason got Blabbermouth love and went banana sandwich. So they are always a good luck charm to have on the podcast.
Nice.
1056 is Aaron Matz from Betraying the Martyrs.
Oh.
But that was actually one of the biggest episodes of Talk to Me was his episode, because he came on right after Betraying the Martyr. They had a van fire, or a trailer fire that burnt their whole entire trailer. Ugh. But the thing is they were managed by Chris Adler. And so for that tour, Chris Adler said, you know what? You can borrow my drum kit that I recorded Dystopia with. And in that van, that trailer fire, that drum kit burnt up.
Oh,
so, and then it was funny. The other day, he posted on Facebook. He's like, hey, does anyone know does anyone have a trailer we can borrow? And I said, what's your history with trailers in the United States? And he just started laughing.
Like, click. Hang up.
Right. Wargasm
is I mean, they're definitely on the new list for sure. They have a fucking shirt that says "New Metal Isn't Dead."
Right.
So definitely worth checking out. They played with Bloodywood out here.
Yes.
When we saw them.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Then Tala, another band with the new metal tinge. Kittie. Nice to see Kittie on the.
Yeah. I'm bummed I missed them at fucking Sick New World, man. That was one of the things that I was like, God damn it. But
I like this Kittie resurgence that we're having. They've not only come back but they're also getting like the love of, they're high up on the bills, and they're, people are freaking out that they're coming back,
Right.
Because I feel like for a long time they were kind of maybe the butt of the joke, or again, not taken too seriously because they were kids. But now that like a generation has kind of gone by, now they're like lauded.
Well, that's kind of it. I mean, it's like, the people who were, I guess, whatever, our age, who were, dismissing them, it's like you got the people who are 10 years younger than that, who, that was their everyththing.
Yeah.
That was what, Kittie was one of those bands that helped them really form their fucking cultural identity. Or especially help them out in high school and whatnot when, when everybody was when everyone's dissing a band, they're essentially dissing you. And if you're part of that dissed crowd, then you're going to hold on to that even more.
Yeah. I think as a younger music, like I'm only a couple of years older than like Morgan, but at the time, I'm trying to be in a band. So, and even growing up playing music, like I hated that band Bad for Good because they were all like little kids. And then I hated Silverchair because they were all little kids. I'm like, why can't I just be in a band like this? And so when Kittie kind of started popping up too, I'm like, yeah, these are just a bunch of kids. Getting so bad. So I always hated the kid bands, but I grew to love them.
Yeah.
Fever 333.
They're right up there. Those guys put on a great show also.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were at Knotfest in Iowa as well, I believe, right?
Yes, they were, yes.
Yeah, they were fucking amazing.
I'm looking forward to seeing the next one, Avatar. I don't know what your thoughts are on them.
I'm indifferent, to be honest with you. I've heard some of their songs and they don't really grab me, but I keep seeing it everywhere. So it's one of those things where I go, okay, like when I start seeing stuff everywhere that's unrelated and still has to do with that one thing, I'm like, all right, I need to pay a little bit more attention to what's going on with these guys. So
I think they're one thing. I think they're going to be fun to see live. I've never seen them live. I've interviewed the singer a couple of times. But their music is set to put on a stage show. You know what I'm saying? Like it's made to. It's like My Chemical Romance, Black Parade, theatrics. Like they're gonna put on a good show. Corey Taylor.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, it's gonna be it'll be fun to see Corey Taylor live. Megadeth.
Gotta love it. I just went bowling. Me and my wife went bowling with Dirk and his wife the other day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you.
I know. I taught him how to bowl better.
Oh.
His first game was absolutely atrocious, and we were like, "No, dude, you got to try it like this." And then next thing you know, he was fucking crushing it. We were like, "Oh fuck, all right." That's all he needed was a little bit of direction and encouragement. He nailed it. No, Dirk is one of our dearest friends, and I mean, I've been a Megadeth fan since I was like fucking 14.
Yeah. Came out the womb.
Yeah, pretty much, right? It's like, I mean, they're one of those bands though where I know that Mustaine is very set in his ways with the way he does stuff. My only gripe is that I feel like they need to change their set list up a little bit.
Yeah.
I know they added like mechanics to the set list, which I think is cool. But I just think like, of course they're going to have to play Symphony and they're going to have to play Hangar 18 and Holy Wars and stuff like that. But I do feel like there's a little room for, throwing in a little, whatever, Tornado of Souls or, Wake Up Dead or, just some of these, like, not exactly super deep cuts, but just like, I don't know, stuff for those fans where they're, you want to hear Devil's Island or something, like that kind of
Give
thing.
me Angry Again or 99 Ways to Die.
Right. Oh, 99 Ways to Die, dude. If they threw that out there, I'd be so stoked. I also always loved their version of Paranoid.
Yeah.
They did such a great cover with that. So
yeah, one of my go-to records for them is that Hidden Treasures, where just the compilation of all the rarities and stuff like that, or the soundtrack songs. They are one of the best soundtrack bands of all time.
Yeah, I agree with
like
that.
Go to Hell, 99 Ways to Die, Angry Again. Like it's just such good stuff.
Some really good shit there.
Up next, Limp Bizkit.
When was the last time you saw Limp Bizkit?
It's actually probably going to be Louder Than Life, like 2016, I think was the last time I saw them.
Yeah, we saw them maybe not that long ago. It was prior to the pandemic, I think. They played the Troubadour out here, which only holds about 300 people.
Nice.
And it was fucking amazing. like the energy coming off that stage was fucking incredible. I mean, and it's it's funny. Before that, I saw them during New York Comic Con one time. They played, and it was one of those weird situations where the universe sort of provides. I was literally outside. I had no tickets, and I was on the phone with my wife, and I was like, "Hey, if I don't get into the show somehow," and it was sold out, I was like, "I'm just gonna go to my folks' place and just crash out for the night." And out of nowhere, a buddy of mine comes out and he's like, "Dude, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just, was trying to see about getting in." He's like, "Come on." I was like, "Oh, are you on the tour?" He's like, "No, I'm the general manager of the club. So come on." I was like, "Oh, all right."
Nice.
And at first I was like very I was very reticent about what it was going to be like, just because I remember those days of Fred Durst just being a fucking A+ douchebag, so it's like, but like he was on stage, he was like freestyling. They were doing like rap covers. They were doing all this stuff. Then he jumped into the crowd and he was in the pit with the microphone. And I was like, oh, and it was like, and it's one of those things too, where it's like, nobody's going to buy a ticket to see Limp Bizkit if you don't like them. So the fact that everyone that was there was just all about it, like the energy inside the venue was like fucking, it was just a great time. Like everybody who walked out of there was so fucking happy. And I was too, because I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. And then they played a $3 show out here, which was weird. So they played a $3 show. They played the Troubadour, which was rad, to see a huge band in such a tiny, tiny place. But you would think if they were going to charge $3, they would play
some $3 bill y'all.
$3 bill y'alls. But they didn't. I mean, I think they played maybe one or two songs or something like that. But it was like, it just sounded like a $3 bill y'all's kind of vibe, kind of night. Yeah. And like, it was just, I was like, oh, I guess I was just expecting a little bit more than that. But I bet they're going to fucking get that place fucking jumping.
I mean, they were middle of the day, like 2016, and they still, like, in the forums, they're like, what's the best set of all time? And the Limp Bizkit set is still talked about.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's the one thing with them. And I saw them open for Faith No More in like what, 97.
Yeah, fucking me
and
too.
Then I played, my band in the opening for them a couple of months later. That was an amazing show. Like, and then I've seen them, God, I've probably seen Limp Bizkit 20 times over the years, and just every single time, great fucking show.
Yeah, totally.
Godsmack.
I haven't seen Godsmack in years. Literally not since Ozfest 2000.
I haven't seen them since then either. They weren't too bad on Ozfest 2000. I give them they were good.
Sully was just a jerk to me, so that kind of no pun intended, but that kind of sullied my experience with them. Or maybe pun intended, I guess. Yeah. But I again, like, knowing what I know now and just how people are and everything like that, I just felt like he kind of walked around with a "my shit don't stink" kind of vibe. But I'll say one thing, man. Voodoo's like my favorite song from them. So anytime I hear that shit, I'm like, everybody's got to shut up.
That might actually be my least favorite song of any band ever.
Love that song. One of my favorite songs to karaoke.
Nice. Up next, Tool. So yeah, like 2 hours. I think it's almost 2 hours of Tool too. I saw this at times.
Wow. That's get the drugs ready, man. That's all I'm saying.
That's exactly what my wife said. She's like, I'm taking a gummy during like Limp Bizkit.
Right.
Let
us settle in during Godsmack and let it really hit you during Tool.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've seen Tool, I think, since the pandemic, I think we've seen them twice, and both times it's just been amazing shows.
Yeah. I haven't seen Tool in years and years. And, they're playing the Power Trip show, which I don't know if I'll be around for. And they're, I think they're doing Aftershock. So I'm trying to figure out like when to go and see them. Yeah. But I'm stoked that I'm working on a project with those guys. So that makes
nice.
Sense. Yeah.
Obviously looking forward to Friday. Lots of new adjacent bands. Obviously the three headliners, Godsmack kind of gets thrown into the new metal thing, even though I'm not a big fan. But yeah, Tool, Limp Bizkit, Kittie,
you got Fever 333, you got a lot of Orgasm,
yeah. So there's gonna be a lot of new that day.
Yep.
All right, Saturday, September 23rd.
See, you guys have this is a fucking stacked show. The same night we have check this out. Check out this lineup. I don't know if you've seen it. Okay. Midnight, Twin Temple, Behemoth, Suicidal Tendencies, and Danzig doing all of Danzig 1.
Nice.
That's what we got on September 23rd. Otherwise, I'd be all about this show right here, because there are some amazing shit amazing bands on this on Saturday, September 23rd for you guys.
The Devil's Cut, another local band here, Devil's Cut. Cool. He's actually Trey from Devil's Cut owns Losers 812. They hosted a live Talk to Me there before. So definitely looking forward to seeing those guys. Gideon. Mm-hmm. Gideon, when I interviewed the guitar player, it had turned out that he's from Nashville. We're from Nashville. that my wife actually hired him at Hot Topic, and he worked for my wife at Hot Topic. So that was
that's really funny.
0936. Actually, back to Gideon. I'm looking forward to seeing Gideon. If you want like think of like Far Beyond Driven drums, like just the sound of them with like the ride cymbal and everything else. Fucking like Gideon is going to be a jam.
Okay, I'm game on that. That sounds pretty dope.
Some more Tennessee boys, Whitechapel. Definitely going to be looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, that'll be a great set.
You know, it's funny with Whitechapel. Obviously, my band was from Nashville. The Tennessee flag is a circle with 3 stars in it, right?
Okay.
So I put that on like a jacket, and like none of the guys in the band wanted that on there. Like, this is dumb. Why are we doing this? Like, we got, show we're from Nashville, show we're from Tennessee. So Whitechapel comes out. Not that this has nothing to do with me, but Whitechapel comes out. They take that same logo, but they make it into a like a buzz saw with the star. And I'm like, fuck yeah, man. That's how you do it.
Right.
Suicide Silence. This was kind of funny because typically they don't do back-to-back years for a lot of bands, and Suicide Silence played last year.
Oh shit.
So definitely looking forward to seeing Suicide Silence. One of my favorite bands, Memphis May Fire.
Very cool.
Obviously the 2022 album of the year for me.
Yep.
And then Maddie obviously sat down with him the other day here in Louisville and did a nice little sit down interview with him. So it's going to be great to see those guys. One hell of a live band.
Yeah.
The Who.
Love that band. I've seen them so many times now. It's so ridiculous. It's it's funny how many, like, it makes me laugh how many times I've seen them, because every time they come to LA, it's like they'll come and just play this one show, but it's like the show just sells out like instantly, and somehow I find myself inside of there. But it's like I just think it's just really interesting,
Right?
Like, it's not like I'm not exactly like, cleaning my house singing, fucking metal, Yeah, it's like, but at the same time, like when I watch them, I'm really fascinated by just kind of the instruments and the sounds, like the kind of throat singing and all. I just think it's such a fucking.
I think this is definitely something I need to see live.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, and especially out here, it's like you really get a lot of Asian people who show up for their shows, and it's like these are obviously people who just do not go to concerts,
Right.
So it's like while everybody's like having a good time, you just see so many people just like. It's like just staring at them, like not really sure how to fucking process it. But I think you'll dig it though, man. They're really good.
It's kind of like similar as like when I go see Fozzy, because I'm friends with some of those guys,
right, and
like, but the crowd is wrestling fans, right? That don't really go to, like, they have signs and they don't really know what to do. They're just there to see Chris Jericho.
Just start DDTing people. You're like, that's not how you do this at all, dude.
Right. Up next, Death Clock.
Love it.
That's gonna be fun.
I heard they have a really funny intro. Something about people showering, like make sure you shower. Like, so it's about concert hygiene, from what I understand. I don't know much more about it than that, but I think but that sounds like exactly the type of thing they would do.
So this was a big thing when they posted the set times the other day. It came out that Death Clock and Pantera were going to be playing at the same exact time.
Lame.
And everyone flipped their shit. And so they actually flipped Death Clock with somebody else.
Oh, good.
And so now you can see Death Clock and then Pantera. One of the few times I've really seen like social media attack something and like get some change. Like there were 2 set times. I can't remember the other. There was 2 other bands that clashed that were the same fan base that they also switched. But yeah. So I'm excited to see Death Clock. Excited to see Gene Hoglan, see him again. All that good stuff.
Yeah, when I was at Aftershock, they had Guar and Lamb of God at the same time, and I was like, "Come on, man,
Right.
That's not fair." We'll run across this whole goddamn thing.
Baby Metal.
I need to see these guys play live, because I will admit that I have talked plenty of shit about it. Just in that, like. To me, Baby Metal, just the name Baby Metal sounds like baby talk, and I fucking hate baby talk. I hate when people goo goo and gaga. I hate when people do that with animals. I hate when people do that with kids. And then it's like when I hear baby metal, I'm like, oh, you're like babying up my metal now too. Like, come the fuck on, dude. I don't need that in my life. But I do really want to see it. But at the same time, I can already feel like my back tensing up, like with anger.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it would be a fun show. I don't know if it'd be a good show.
I think that's the best way to put it.
So we got Falling in Reverse. Obviously, Ronnie Radke gets a big bad rap for everything that he does. But man, I'm a huge fan. I'm looking forward to seeing them live.
Cool.
Cool. Leave it there. Up next, Pantera. I think it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be similar to, I mean, they might not play as many songs as maybe a headlining set, but stage wise, it's going to be probably the same stage as the amphitheater shows. So I think I will have a good ass time with Pantera.
I think you will too, man. Just seeing the Pantera logo with the flames and everything.
I'm telling you, man.
Fucking great shit.
Yeah, I mean, the whole time I saw him, I was like singing every word, like basically in tears. Like, just never thought you would see it again in any capacity, celebration or not. But and then up next, Avenged Sevenfold.
I haven't seen Avenged Sevenfold in fucking years, so I have no idea how they are now. I heard that like some of the new songs, and I was like, oh, this is a huge departure from the Avenged that I knew once upon a time when they were trying to go Guns N' Roses and Motley Crue. Now I feel like they're trying to go Faith No More-ish.
What's funny, man, is like I'm a huge Avenged Sevenfold fan. Like I love, City of Evil and Nightmare and Wake and the Fallen, and just throughout but the new album, I put it on and I was just like, what are they doing? Like it doesn't make any sense to me what they're trying to do. And so I've never seen them live, so I'm excited to see them live.
Okay.
But I'm also like, man, those new, like even their new album's not for everybody. And also I'm like, you should probably make it for your fans.
Well, I always look at it this way, especially being a big Kiss fan and all that, is that I feel like bands are allowed they're allowed a misstep here and there, like it's like they obviously can't do the same thing over and over and over again. So it's like, you want to try and do something a little bit different. I like to say, they can't all be zingers, it's like, Metallica has their records that just kind of fall short of the fucking mark. Kiss has them, Megadeth has them. Like a lot of bands have them, and this might just be theirs,
Well, I'm looking at it now. The new album, Life is But a Dream. And then the last album before that is The Stage, and The Stage wasn't very good. And then Hail to the King would have been before that, which, I liked Hail to the King, but it got a bunch of, this song is ripping off Sad But True. This song is ripping off that. So, Nightmare, self-titled, City of Evil, Wake and the Fallen, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, like all that stuff is great. So I'm just looking forward to the show.
Yeah, I think I think something tells me that they're going to be pleasantly surprising.
Yeah.
That's my take on the situation.
We said this before we started recording too, but I'm really blown away that they're headlining over Pantera. But other than that, Saturday, let's see, some decent new on that day. Yeah. But overall, going to be a great fucking day of metal.
That's going to be a real, that's the big metal day for sure.
All right, let's dive through Sunday. And we'll probably just run through Sunday here. And then your 3 headliners that day: Turnstile, which I thought they were great at Knotfest Iowa.
I thought they were incredible. I saw them they were at Sick New World. Yeah. They were really, really fucking good.
Queens of the Stone Age. I'm hit or miss on Queens of the Stone Age. I'm a huge Caius fan.
I am as well. I'm a huge Caius fan. I love Queens though. Queens is right up there. But Caius is definitely my jam.
And then headliner that day is Green Day. That's another thing too. Is that day not a ton of stuff I've either A, know about, or B, want to see.
Yeah, I call it the alternative press day.
Yeah, I would like to see Green Day, but I don't know if I want to stick around a whole day for a festival to see Green Day.
Yeah,
I've never seen them, and they're I've always enjoyed them.
But. Yeah, I mean I think the 3 headliners are really good, and Run the Jewels. Flogging Molly would be cool. I'd love to see I would love to see AWOL Nation, but everything else would be like That's your final day. Like, do we really need to do today? kind of day.
Yeah, it's like on that fourth day.
Can we sleep in today? Let's say we go to Denny's for breakfast and lunch. Like it's that kind of thing.
Right.
But I mean, like I said, there's definitely a handful on there that I would love to see. I would probably, after Queens of Stone Age, after that, I'd probably be like, okay, if it takes a long time to get out of the venue, then I'll stick around and see Green Day. If not, then then that's. I wouldn't blame you if you left before Green Day. That's for sure.
I think. What was it? Guns N' Roses headlined a couple of years ago one night, and they were doing the Guns N' Roses thing where they took forever to get on stage.
That's irritating.
And we just left. I was just like, I'm not the biggest Guns N' Roses fan to begin with, and I was just like, it was one of those things where I just like wanted to see it,
right?
And then after a while, I was just like, let's just go.
Yeah,
this is dumb.
Because after a while, when a band does that, I don't know if Tool's ever done that, but with Guns N' Roses, like that's just, even if that's what they're known for, I don't know. To me, that's such a smack in the face, It's like, you're supposed to go on a 10. Go on a fucking 10, dude. Like, I remember when they were like, oh yeah, like Axl Rose needs to have his, therapist there to help talk him out on stage. I'm like, yeah, the fucking $400,000 guarantee they're making should be what talks him out on the stage. The fucking dude was like, "It's okay, Axl, you can do it. All your fans are out." Like, fuck, dude.
Everyone's here to see you.
Yeah, right. Get the fuck out of here. That's some dumb shit right there. But you know what, dude? It's gonna be a fucking great show. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be 4 days of fun music, and then once again, if you guys check out the show, I will be there. So reach out to me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, and we'll get together. We'll have a drink or two.
Yeah, or 6,
or 6, or 7, or 100.
That many. Yeah, and then same thing goes. If there's bands on here that you think we should definitely check out, let us know, because there's a fair amount on there that we definitely don't know.
Yeah,
and definitely a lot I'd love to check out.
Well, cool. Well, I think that will do it.
Maybe we'll do Aftershock. I don't know.
There you go.
I have so many bands. But yeah, I think this will be cool. So until next time.
So that'll do it for another episode of New Pod here, notfest.com. Make sure you're checking out, head over to the Instagram page, newpod1999. Hit us with a like, and make sure to rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yes. So for New Pod here, notfest.com, I'm Joshua Toomey. That is Ro, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Yeah.